Hello and welcome as Zenith Players begins our 32nd week of live readings with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I am TJ, I'm our technical director. All the actors you'll be hearing tonight are volunteering their time and their talents from their homes to bring a little bit of entertainment into your homes. We want to thank them very much for joining us. We'd also like to thank our friend, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, for hosting this on his pages. Check out his website at shakespeareapproves.com and his Patreon at patreon.com/Shakespeare. You can find more about him at the aforementioned website or by visiting his Facebook page, Shakespeare Approves, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. We'll have links to visit him as well as some of our other performer friends in the comments of this video. We're looking forward to October 28th. That's next Wednesday. That's his production with the social distancing players of Titus Andronicus, for kids. As always, we want to acknowledge and thank all of the medical professionals and essential workers who've been working tirelessly to keep us all as healthy and safe as possible. We also want to acknowledge those demonstrating and protesting for bravely pushing forward the simple fact that Black Lives Matter. If you're interested in more information about us, check out our website, zenithplayers.com. Feel very free to check out our very attractive donations page. All donations go towards production costs, which these days consist of the very subscriptions that allow for these readings to happen. If you would like to read with us in future projects, send us an email at casting@zenithplayers.com and we'll get you on board. After 32 weeks, we are taking this Saturday off, but we will be back Halloween night, October 31st, and November 1st, we will present Night of the Living Dead, and November 7th, we will return to Shakespeare with Coriolanus. For now, relax and enjoy Mira Singer, Debbie Lockwood, Andrew Weinstein, Estelle Clark, Johanna Erickson, Andrew Gellos, and Shakira Searle as Captain Nemo in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
The Earth does not need new continents. It needs new men.
My name is Pierre Aronat. I am an assistant professor at the Museum of Natural History in Paris. The year is 1866. Delving into the unknown as I do, there is little that surprises me. And yet today, in this modern life, unbelievable newspaper headlines shock the world.
Extra, extra, a steamer attacked by sea serpent. Read all about it. Extra. Extra, extra, another ship attacked. Navy to sea monster. Extra, 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 extra.
I was in my New York apartment at the conclusion of my most recent scientific tour and had planned to return to Paris with my valuable collection of specimens when.
Professor Aronat.
Yes, concise. What is it?
Commander Farragut of the United States Navy to see you, sir.
Commander Farragut.
Professor Aronat, this is a great pleasure.
Well, believe me, Commander Farragut, the feeling is mutual. In fact, I'm somewhat overcome to have a man of your reputation seek out an obscure professor.
Quite the contrary, sir. My government would like to see France represented in the expedition in search of the monster.
You mean you want me to?
I am holding a cabin at your disposal on the President Lincoln, sir. We leave Brooklyn Pier in 3 hours.
You have a fine ship, Commander.
Yes, we're well armed, Professor.
Yes, didn't I see a breech-loading cannon atop your forecastle?
You did, sir. But my best weapon of all, Professor, is Ned Land.
What?
Oh, Ned! Come over here, if you please.
Aye, Commander Farragut, at your service, sir.
Professor Aronat, Ned is known all over the 7 seas as the Prince of Harpooners. If and when we track down the sea monster, he'll show you some real action.
You have a real test for your talent, Mr. Long. It's a fabulous beast indeed that can stove in the side of a ship.
You're speaking of a Scotia, I take it. Begging your pardon, Professor, if there should be a sea monster that big, that mighty, then Ned Land wants to be the man to harpoon it.
That's the way our voyage began. A strong ship, hand-picked men, and a vast curiosity and determination to end the terror of the seas. On and on we went, past the Marquises, the Sandwich Islands, across the Tropic of Cancer, and headed for the China Seas. And then,
Ahoy there! The very thing we're looking for! On our weather beam, a sea monster!
Oh,
Get them!
I can't harpoon it, sir! The monster's running circles around us! We can't get near enough for me to use my harpoon!
Right the helm, ahead as you are!
It's no use, Commander! The monster's going to take twice as fast as we are!
I know it's, there's only one thing left to do. Stand and fight. Up to the Vauxhall, cannon men!
the foxhole gun was loaded and slewed into position, and the President Lincoln was running at half speed now, and the monster seemed content to follow at a certain distance, as though mocking us. The gunner, steady of eye, brave of face, took long and careful aim, and then,
Fire!
watch out, sir. The monster's closing in on us. That shot made him mad. He's gonna ram us.
I trust that the state of your health is improving, Professor Aronnax.
oh, where am I?
Aboard my submarine, the Nautilus.
Submarine.
Who are you?
You may address me as Captain Nemo, Mr. Land.
Captain? Submarine? Then you're...
I am your sea monster, O Prince of Harpooners.
Capitan, how do you know so much about us?
You told me, Professor. You were somewhat delirious for a while. Thus I learnt all about yourself, your servant Concise, and Ned Land. I also know that you are from the frigate President Lincoln, which deliberately invaded my privacy, attacked me. You are prisoners of war. By rights, I should place you back on deck and submerge, forgetting your existence.
Well, you wouldn't dare. Why, that wouldn't be civilized.
I am not what you so glibly call a civilized man, Professor Aronnax.
Then what is to be our fate, Captain Nemo?
I am not altogether heartless. I do have a certain sense of pity for any living thing. But of course, you must live under my law. Give your word to cause no trouble, and don't try to escape.
Stay with you? For how long?
For the rest of your life, Mr. Land.
Do you know what you ask, Captain? Are we never to see our country again? Our friends, our families?
You'll see far more fascinating country underwater. Renouncing the world is not so painful as you think.
You're simply offering us the choice between life and death.
Just that.
Then we have no choice, Captain Nemo. We will abide by your wishes.
It won't be as bad as you think, gentlemen. You, Professor, will find your own published works in my library, and I will show you marvels under the sea that you haven't ever dreamed of. Even you. You will live in the best of quarters. You will enjoy the finest foods.
Yes, but without freedom.
There is always a price, sir. Be glad that yours is no higher.
We were fed, housed in comfortable quarters, and we slept. but little did I dream of the wonders that tomorrow would bring. Right after breakfast, Ned and Concise were taken to their permanent quarters, while I was escorted to a luxurious suite adjoining the quarters of Captain Nemo himself. As I stared about me in amazement, I heard the strains of the pipe organ in the next room, and venturing in, I found myself in a magnificent drawing room and the captain at the keyboard of the organ.
Ah, good morning, Professor Aranar. You seem somewhat surprised to learn that I practice the arts as well as the sciences.
I must confess, Captain Nemo, I scarcely expected to find you a musician of such inspired music.
Inspired?
I see too that you have priceless works of art on your walls. A Madonna by Raphael, a Virgin by Da Vinci, a Nymph by Caravaggio, and an Assumption by Moreau.
I see that the Professor of Natural History has not neglected his cultural training.
Even a museum professor can have taste, sir, and a zest for life, an appreciation for beauty.
I like you, Professor Aranar. I like courage in a quiet man. Native pride. You have no answer for this turn of events.
I must admit, I do not know what to say.
Then say nothing, but watch instead. I have another wonder to show you. I go over here to press a lever.
Oh, great heavens! The whole side of the submarine is sliding back. We're doomed.
Do not fear, sir. We are protected from the sea by several layers of heavy glass. Behold, behold the army of the sea, Professor. The fish seem to float in liquid light, do they not?
He is unbelievable.
But true. The banded mullet, the Japanese cumbris, the beautiful mackerel, all sewn by the hand of him who created all living things.
Him? Then you...
Believe in God. Look out there, my dear Professor. In the face of such wonders, how could I possibly not believe in such a deity?
But I don't understand. You gave up the world.
Merely because I forsook man does not mean that I forsook God. In the sea, I sense the weaving of creation on every hand.
But with this philosophy, how can you forget man? How and why?
Why? Why does mankind, which has forgotten not I, they've forgotten God by making unjust laws, tearing one another to pieces, destroying... Professor, you and your friend shall accompany me on my next hunting expedition. If you will kindly don these into your diving suits and weighted boots, we'll soon be off on the hunt.
Hunt and diving suits.
Capitan Nemo has promised undreamed wonders, Ned.
I can believe that, sir.
Ah, we've now arrived at the forests of the lost island of Crespa, gentlemen. You have your suits on? Now please put the helmets in place. I am about to close the waterproof door.
We were in utter darkness. The Rukio apparatus began operating as soon as our helmets were firmly affixed in place, and I breathed with ease. Now I was about to step into a completely new element, the sinister unknown, led by a man who, for all I knew, was mad. A second door, located on the outer shell of the Nautilus, slid back, and in another moment, I was treading the floor of the ocean. Oh, my dear friends, how can I describe the sights that met my eyes? A fantastic dream? No, more like an emotion. Yes, an emotion, that's it. I moved through unbelievable beauty, no longer feeling the drag of my clothing and weighted shoes. The water acted like a prism for the early morning sun, so that we walked in a radiance of the 7 solar colors. I could see the silver sand shimmering away to a distance of 150 yards, and dotted with star shells, flowers, and rocks, and shells and pulpi of every shade and formation. What? What if my colleagues could see me now? They wouldn't believe it, no?
We're approaching the old Spanish galleon. But here, friends, look. Look as I open this gigantic chest. There, look. Gold. Plenty of it. Sparkling, glinting in cold salt water. My eternal bank. I fill the small chest we brought along, and now, my dear Professor, we'll go to my pearl beds.
Capitan, all these riches we saw today, you can use only so much. What good is the rest, unless you help your fellow man?
Professor Aronach, you are my guest and onlooker. I do not desire your advice.
But it seems such a waste, sir, with so much need in the world.
Enough! Yes, there is need. I am, and ever shall be, one with unfortunates.
Oh, Capitan, look out there, a diver. He is looking in at us.
Oh yes, we're near shore.
But what does he want?
You asked a question, Professor. You shall have your answer.
And even as I watched, a crew member in a diving suit appeared outside the window and gave the native diver a small treasure chest taken from the Spanish galleon. The swimmer returned to the window, humbly saluted Capitan Nemo, and returned the gesture, and then the diver darted upward with his treasure. I turned and looked at Nemo.
What more do you want of me, Professor Aronach? A confession written in heart's blood that though I hate the world, I love my fellow man.
I couldn't answer him. If ever I saw tragedy burned across a man's face, I saw it in Nemo's. I could now understand his bitter philosophy, his moods blowing hot and cold, like destroying searing winds. And then a week later, Ned, Concise, and I saw another side of Nemo's nature. He had sighted the mysterious man-o'-war. The ship, she fired at us.
It's firing at us! Put us at this periscope!
Stand back, Mr. Land. The ship of an accursed nation. You recognize me, don't you? You fear me. Now, my vengeance. Torpedo 1, fire!
No, Capitan, no! They won't have a chance! The man-o'-war seemed to disintegrate. Capitan Nemo watched it sink, an archangel of hatred. Then he turned and entered his quarters. I followed him, as though hypnotized. I saw him uncover a picture on the far wall, a portrait of a young woman and two beautiful children. Before this little group, Nemo spread out his arms and then...
Almighty God, enough! Enough!
After that catastrophic occurrence, the Nautilus moved on more and more of a dream world. And then Ned came to me with his plan.
We're escaping tonight, Professor.
Escape? Are we in sight of land?
I just look at the direction. There are hills 20 miles to the east of us.
20 miles? It might as well be 200. You know very well that I am not a swimmer, Ned.
You won't have to swim, sir. We'll take the small boat. We'll meet at 10 tonight.
Oh, heaven knows I am with you, Ned. Lay your plans. I'll meet you at 10. I went to my quarters, dressed in my stoutest sea garment, collected my notes, and settled down to await the appointed time. And then music from the tormented soul, longing to break its earthly bonds. Such music as could only come from Capitan Nemo himself. And then my heart froze in terror. The very room I must cross in order to make my escape. I made my way to the drawing room. The room was in a greenish half light. Nemo sat before the pipe organ, playing as though music were his last avenue of expression in life. I held my breath. I passed in back of him. I reached for the far door.
Stop!
Captain Nemo arose and came straight towards me. I slammed the heavy door, bolted it, and ran to meet Ned.
Professor, is that you?
Yes, let's go.
Aye, sir. We have surface to take on fresh air.
They're coming after us.
Quick, up on deck. Come on, Professor, hurry.
Oh, good heavens, a storm.
A storm's nothing. It's a maelstrom. Quick, get on the small boat.
Oh, now the waves. We're caught in the maelstrom. Oh, we're going down.
You're safe, Professor. Quite safe now.
Concise?
Same, sir. And he has Ned, too. He brought us through the maelstrom safely.
We're in a fisherman's hut on the Lofoten Islands, Professor.
But they're not alas.
She was caught fair in the middle of it and went down, sir, and it's no better than she deserved if you ask me.
If anyone could survive such a storm, Captain Nemo could. At least, I hope so.
You hope so.
Yes, Ned. After traveling 20,000 leagues under the sea with Nemo, I hope he lives on to conquer his hatred for the world, forget vengeance in his love for the oppressed, as Ecclesiastes questioned 6,000 years ago. That which is far off and exceeding deep, who can find it out? I hope that Capitan Nemo can find his answer.
Thank you for joining us for 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. A big thanks again to our friend, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. Visit him at his website, shakespeareapproves.com, or on Facebook at Shakespeare Approves, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. We've got links to all of his content and more in the comments of this video. We would once again like to thank all of the actors who volunteered to read with us this evening. Thank you for coming on this short little ride, 20,000 Leagues with us. If you enjoyed this reading, all of our past readings are available on our Facebook page and a little better organized on our website, zenithplayers.com. If you want more information on us, including how to be involved in a reading like this one, head to our Facebook page, Zenith Players, and send us a message, or send an email to casting@zenithplayers.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. We want to continue to express our support to everyone out there working to keep us safe and those continuing to protest and demonstrate. And finally, join us Halloween night, October 31st and November 1st, as we present Night of the Living Dead, and we return to Shakespeare on Saturday, November 7th, with Coriolanus. Thank you, and good night.